Hello, hello. I'm going to quickly run through this new email newsletter I just finished writing that's going out today for one of our clients. And the reason I want to kind of do this is to show the difference essentially in what these like CRMs are just auto producing for you with like, hey, this home just sold. Hey, this just got listed. Like every realtor, their mom, dog, and auntie's cousin is having a system that does this. When you hire someone to essentially write custom emails for you, they look like this, and you can tell the difference, the tonality, how we're building relationship through email. You need to think of email as another channel like social media. It's just consumed in a written format. But without further ado, I want to jump into this and just kind of read it, and you can see the tonality, what I'm talking about. And then I'll explain as I go kind of why I say certain things and the formatting that makes this thing convert and get people interested and read the entire thing, even though it's a longer email. Because there's no such thing as too long, just too boring. And so, we write in order to, obviously get people to read. And that is also why, if you can see the formatting is like, we only say like sentences and then we do double spaces. So without further ado, let's just get into it. So this is Abel, client first name. You can input any name that you have in the CRM here. So it could be Abel, John, Sarah, Meredith, whatever, but this one, Abel. If you haven't heard, the condo market is crashing, big kind of like hook, right? It's like, okay, like I've been hearing things, maybe I want to know more about this. And then we say, which is having this insane domino, that should say effect, which will be adjusted, which is having this insane domino effect on the buyer's market. So we have the hook and then we have what's happening. So we're building curiosity and intrigue. And then we label them. So we are basically saying this is for you by saying, here's what to expect in the next couple of months if you're even considering buying. So someone who's considering buying, we just hook them in the first 3 short paragraphs. And that is the intention, right? We want them to figure out, we want them to know what this email is going to be about and kind of how it benefits them and why they should read it. And then we set the expectation. We can boil this down to 3 main points. 1, snowbird season, which if you're not familiar with snowbird season, it's basically the season where a lot of Northeasterners come down to South Florida and, they buy homes, and the population in this South Florida region just, gets flooded. It's overpopulated, if you ask me. And then we have 2, condo market crash, which is just current news. And then 3, decreasing interest rates, which is also current news. So let's start with 1. And I highlight this so they can see that we're talking about 1. And then if you see here, we highlight now number 2, so they can see the expectation of how much they need to read to get the gist of like what's happening. So I say it is currently snowbird season and the average home sales price has increased across Palm Beach County. So again, we want to use words and verbiage that is going to align with where our clients are. I know this entire list, the emails we're sending to this list are in this geographical region. And so when we say this, we're reinforcing that this is still for them and this is applying to them in this market. So here's why. We want to have a transitional statement so they can, again, know that we're going to give them something now. We're going to get into the explanation. And every time you get to a new section, you want to use these transitional phrases. So here's why. Snowbirds are coming down and buying homes. However, since we're in the holiday season, again, you see how we're just making a statement here? We're making a statement. Snowbirds are coming down and buying homes. That's a statement. However, however is kind of like a transitional statement. However, since we are in the holiday season, ... right? It's just leading them on. We want them to read the next line. The goal of this is each line has its own goal of getting them to read the next line. If you can do that, they'll read the whole thing. So that is how we write this. Each line gets them to read the next line. So don't make these super long paragraphs because a lot of people don't want to feel like they have to work to get the information. They just want to be mindlessly scrolling through this stuff, just like you do on social media. We're in the holiday season. There just aren't many homes for sale. Simple supply and demand. A lot of people can understand that. You don't have to be very educated to get what I'm trying to say here. So, and then we immediately move on to now, number two, the condo market crashing. This is what we are dealing with weekly. So we're establishing a little bit of credibility here, as well as that transitional statement. Older retirees who would traditionally be condo buyers, right, setting the tone, are now looking for communities that offer a similar lifestyle and amenities that condos did, which is just kind of like putting it into frame. So again, they can understand how this is making sense, and this is all building up to something at the end. Places like Westlake, Avenir, Artistry, PGA National, which are all communities that offer just insane amenities, and lifestyle, like condos would. Adding to the competition of the buyer market. Again, we're putting in scarcity, and then we really added in here at this next line, and the bankroll to outbid the majority. So you can see how we're kind of building this like FOMO, or we're building this like urgency as we keep reading. At the end of this email, I tell you how to beat this scenario. See, right there, that hook, if they've read to this point, I guarantee you they will read the rest of the email, because we've now kind of built up this curiosity, this urgency, a little bit of FOMO. And if someone is considering buying, they're like, oh man, like that's kind of true, And then they read this and they're like, oh, so he's going to tell me how to solve this problem, right? Essentially, this whole email, we're calling out the problem that is arising. And then here we're saying, again, we have the solution, just read the rest of the email. So now we're going to get them to read more and ingest more information from your organization, in my case, my client's organization. Even before the election, interest rates were on the decline, which is true. They went down, they went back up. They're starting to trend down. And now that Trump is in office, it's his personal mission to continue that decreasing trend, at least from what, society views. Again, this is just going off of their belief system of what is happening. This is not essentially like, yes, we're providing facts, but we also have to understand where our customers' mindset currently is, and then start talking to them in that mindset and progressing them into the mindset we want them to think. That's the trick to long-term nurture and providing value in getting people from cold traffic to closed deals. We want to meet our customers where they're at and then nurture them into the mindset that eventually makes them believe internally, their internal beliefs, not just like by facts, but their internal beliefs have switched to, this is what I need to do. This is a good opportunity. Just like any sale you've probably ever done in your life, you have to meet the customer where they're at and align it with their goals and break down beliefs in order for them to believe it's a good idea. And, it is. I would honestly say that everything we write here is a good idea. So interest rates decreasing is going to bring in countless more buyers. Again, reinstating competition. We don't want to just say more buyers. That's like real estate lingo. We want them to see all of this as more competition coming to the market, which is bad for them. Competition that drives prices up and has a ton of cash buyers. And then you add all cash buyers. And when you add all this together, it's going to create one of the most competitive buyer markets since COVID, right? So now we're, again, reinstating or realigning our message with their current belief system, because everyone knows how competitive the COVID market was. Interest rates were super low, cash buyers everywhere, people getting outbid hundreds of thousands of dollars for homes, California buyers, Texas buyers, New York buyers, all coming to South Florida or wherever you are in the U.S., right? And so then I say, so how do you avoid this altogether? The answer is simple: time, right? Very simple. As time goes on, it would only get more competitive, because you have the condo market crashing. This is just me saying this now. You have the condo market crashing. You have decline of interest rates, and you also currently have snowbird season, which again, brings in a lot of Northeastern buyers from up north, making it not only more difficult, but expensive to move, even with decreased interest rates. Because a lot of people are kind of on the sidelines right now of, oh, once interest rates drops, I'll go and buy. Well, guess what? Everyone's going to do that. So sure, you might get like a whole 1% less on interest, and it will save you, out of the time of your mortgage, if you go the financing route, at least, maybe a couple $1,000s, but you're going to end up paying an extra 50 to 100 grand, maybe, I don't know, on the same house, which if you're an agent, you know what I'm saying. Like whether it is 50 or 100 or even 20 or $30,000 more on the same house, like you get what I'm trying to say. It's just, it doesn't make sense to wait for rates to drop because you're just going to meet it with an increased sale price anyway. So here's the thing, Abel, we want them to know at this statement here, we're talking directly to them. Again, if you're considering buying, and keyword here, we never want to say like you are buying. We want to say considering, because this is the mindset our client or customer we're talking to is currently in. They're not looking to buy now, hence long-term nurture, right? So when we use words like considering, we're letting them know we're not trying to sell them. We're letting them know we understand where you're at now. We're just kind of like probing you for the future, and something to consider, right? Providing value and giving them information for them to make their own decisions down the road. So if you're considering buying the next 6 to 12 months, and we're putting a time horizon, so we let them know again that we're not looking for urgency here, but we are saying if this is you, I would seriously consider looking to doing it sooner if you can, right? So a lot of people have their own situations. We're not trying to be hard salesy. We're just trying to present the facts and say, if you're looking to avoid all of this, like you should look into doing it sooner if you're able to. Again, not hard sales. Or make sure you can be an all cash buyer that's able to outbid everyone else. So we're basically saying like you should consider doing this sooner unless this is you, which all cash buyers generally aren't the people on my client's list. I mean, maybe, right? But not only should you be an all cash buyer, but be able to outbid everyone else. Now, those are two things that a lot of people feel like is unachievable for them. And if it is, they probably won't reply or maybe even do business with us. I don't know. But you see what I'm trying to say here. And then we just put at the end, best regards, client's name, client team, the brokerage he's with. Very simple. We're not making it flashy. And then we have a PS, which is nice. Use me as a resource. Even if you don't use me as your realtor, I want you to be set up for success. Don't hesitate to call or text, my client's number. So this is a traditional email. It took me about an hour and a half to write, but as you can see, it's not like I'm just writing shit. I'm writing in a format that breaks down beliefs, meets them where their current beliefs are, break down their beliefs, and then turn their mindset into the mindset that is eventually going to lead into a closed deal. Now, we do one of these newsletters about like every week, just for buyers and sellers. Depends on what your list is and the quality of that list. If you have a majority of buyers and you want to focus on buyers, then it's one a week. If you want to focus on sellers and just talk in the seller lingo, then sellers. I mean, we do both. So, and it's smart to segment them. You don't want to be just blurbing out things. You want to talk to a specific person in a specific buyer mindset. So this is that video. I hope you might have learned something and can kind of understand the formatting and template of how we write these things, because they're all unique. It's not like we have a template. We don't transfer this from client to client. Like it's all depending on your individual market and what's happening in that market. And this is what a real marketing agency, newsletter, email marketing writer should be doing. Your CRM templated, like I said, these 2 homes just sold, like check this out. That's not building a relationship. And as you know, as an agent watching this video, building a relationship is the number one job you have as an agent. Like, right or wrong, right? If there's no trust, there's no credibility, there's no expertise in that relationship, then the chances of them working with you is not very high. And when you get past the whole referral system and you're looking to really convert the coldest of traffic and strangers into deals, this is what's needed. So a lot of the clients we work with essentially are already doing the realtor.com leads, the Zillow leads, and those are bringing in a lot of buyers. We specialize in, yes, bringing in buyers, but our specialty is getting local seller cold traffic into your database. We handle the entire nurture process from capture to nurture and then deliver you primed leads. The only time you really have to talk to these leads is one, to call them the second they come in and maybe touch base every once in a while on a call. But we handle the SMS messaging, the follow-ups, the long-term nurture newsletters. So if any of that is interested in you, if any of that sounds interesting and worth exploring, we have an insane offer right now. And I can't really tell you too much. You're just going to have to book a call below. And I promise you, we make it worth your while. And there's little to no risk for you. So as a good agency, that is how we've set up our model. We know what converts from cold traffic to warm traffic. And generally, our case study right now is within the first 90 days, we are paying for ourselves for the entire year. Now, not a lot of agencies can say that they actually pay for themselves, let alone for an entire year. That means within 90 days, we're going to capture the coldest traffic. And then within 90 days, we're going to get you a new listing sold. We're going to book you appointments. And within those 90 days, again, you are going to close a deal and it's going to pay for our entire year. Now, again, if that sounds interesting, there's going to be a link in the description of this video for you to book a call and apply to work with us, because we do not accept everybody. You have to fit our specific criteria and the culture and all of that stuff. So I encourage you to go and book a call through the link below. Without further ado, have a good day, and I will see you in the next one.